Okay, I guess we'll start. What is it? 3:04, and this is our retreat, which is it may be just part one, so we can just go over the work plan. And I've asked Aurelius maybe if we can later on do some other more team building exercises or something virtually, and since we're still in our situation. So without further ado, Mr. Walker, if you could start. Has everybody got a copy in front of them, either on the computer or in hand?
Anybody need a copy sent to them again?
Actually, is it possible to share the document on the screen, like share it? That way everybody's.
Hold on, let me.
Because for us, I need to minimize the screen and then erase some of you in order for me to do that. But
okay, Aurelius, do you want me to give you that presentation hosting ability so you could flip through it while you facilitate? Okay, hold on 1 second.
Thank you so very much.
Okay, you should be able to share your screen now, Aurelius.
Okay. Let me make sure I have that document. Bear with me, please. All right. Does everyone see it?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Very good. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Good to see everyone again. So I'm going to have to rely on Dominique because my screen is basically the document. So if there are any comments or anything in the chat, Dominique will let me know. And so,
right. And we're going to be just using our virtual hands like we do in all our meetings. So when prompted, please remember to use your virtual hand and I will call on you.
Very good. And so basically what we're doing is just an update to the plan that was finalized for last fiscal year. So this is the new fiscal year that started on July 1st, 2020, and this will then go into June 30th, 2021. So basically we're going to look at the content just to see what we need to update. So looking at the cover document, it's going to go fiscal year 2020 through 2021. So basically it's our official 2021 work plan. Once it's adopted, we'll put the date on that page. This is page 2, intentional left blank. We're gonna have to redo and resort the table of contents once we're finalized. So that'll be something that we'll finalize once we get everything done. So just quickly looking at the HRC members in the document. We now have an elected chair and co-chair for this new fiscal year. Congratulations, Sylvia and Ginger. I think Ginger, she's up in the mountains, I understand.
I think so.
Okay, very good. And then we have all the other commissioners there. There are a couple that we just want to make sure that we're clear on. There's this one student we have pending removal. What do we want to do with Cheryl? Is that Kayla?
Callum, her term was up in August, so she's gone. And as the best I could tell from Michael Bellucci, he said to remove both students, and then I'm not sure what his plan is. He's going to reappoint them, and I don't know how he's. Because I asked just recently, how do you want to do that? Do you want to go through Parrott and our people, or he said, I don't know yet. So
okay, so we'll be able to remove Cheryl from the document. Is that okay with all the commissioners?
Yeah.
From that understanding. Okay.
Yeah. I have a couple of virtual hands up. Commissioner Amperman, your mic is open.
Yes, I agree and second that we should remove those names, as well as the name of Mr. Rajiv Islam, who resigned as well.
Yes, so
Okay.
that'll be removed.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I have a show hand up by Commissioner Stanley. So Commissioner Stanley, your mic is now open.
Yeah, I'm just making sure that right now our decision has been that we remain status quo, but the students are either rolling off or they have not been compliant with the bylaws, so they've been missed more meetings. And so since we're holding them to the same standard, that's the reasoning, not that we're doing anything like removing people just because, you know, for any other reason. I just wanted to make sure that that was on record because it was my understanding that we left things like they were, at least for now, and letting students be held to the same accountability as all the adult commissioners with our bylaws.
Exactly.
Right.
To make sure that participation does not result in us not being able to make a quorum.
Okay. So Cheryl, now was it because of her lack of participation or because her term was up?
Her term was up in August, and when I got the ordinance, it for whatever reason it changed from 2 students being juniors to 1 being a senior and 1 being a junior, and she was the junior student that went off after 2 years, and I think I don't know what girl was, to be honest, but that was Michael's decision. I didn't have anything to do with it. Michael and the clerk's office removed her.
Do we want to put a placeholder in there for a pending student? No? Okay.
Yeah, I guess so, because we have 2, and Beatrice has her hand up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Thank you very much, because I think we are confusing 2 things. One is that we have to keep a record or minutes of this meeting. The other one is actually updating the actual document. And for the actualization of the document, I would say that you should take out, we shouldn't revisit this again. It shouldn't be there pending or anything. We have to, and your decision has been that city council has decided that because of lack of attendance, these 2 members are going to be removed, or some of them, their time has expired already. But for the document that we have at hand, and for the future, discussions that we have to keep advancing. So I suggest let's do that as a minutes, as a supportive document, and then let's clear up and clean the document itself. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So the recommendation is just let's not have any pending in there. So these are just at this time the commissioners that we have on board. Is that agreeable?
It's fine.
Okay. Disagree. We'll do it with any disagreement. And that way, any disagreement on that?
Anyone with the disagreement? Let me check with our 2 commissioners that are on the phone. Commissioner Hesseltine, did you have anything?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Nope.
Commissioner Zoberman?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
All right.
So-
Commissioner Stanley, did you have anything more to add? Just want to make sure.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Back to you, Aurelius.
Okay. So we'll remove Cheryl. We'll remove Raj, Zine. And what about Pearl? Is Pearl a student also?
She is, and she's been removed by the clerk's office.
Very good. And so everything else looks good then on that page then, commissioners?
Anyone else have anything? Raise your virtual hand on this page. Okay.
All right. Very good. So then looking at the content, this next page, basically the only thing we changed were the dates because the city code and everything has stayed the same. And so it's just the dates of the document. Any disagreement with what's on this page? The only thing that was changed was the date.
Let me check with our 2 callers. Commissioner Hesseltine?
Hi. No, I think that's right. I was going to go back to revisit because I can't see it right now. We did add the newest commissioner, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Zakia has been added to it.
Okay, perfect. No, other than that, that's good.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Commissioner Zoberman?
No.
Okay.
No.
Thank
Very
you.
good. and I apologize, I'll identify on the phone what we're looking at. So this is the page that's about the document, that gives the overview of the document, the period that it covers, and then purpose of the HRC, which basically states the city code paragraphs, subparagraphs A through E.
Yeah, do you think we need to add on this page the temporary order that gives us the ability to meet virtually? Or do you think that's necessary or not?
Anyone have an opinion on that? Raise your virtual hand. Okay, let me check with Commissioner Heseltine. Do you have an opinion on that?
I think we should. Some of the other boards and commissions that I'm on, it seems like everything that's sent out is sent out with that little disclaimer on it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Zoberman, do you have an opinion on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, mic is now open.
Yes, I concur with Sylvia that we should add that to the purpose, because it actually validates our meeting and any decisions that we make today.
Right.
Okay. All right. On that note, just because I know that like recently that code changed, there's an update to it. I'm probably gonna have to get with Rod to see if how long, because I think as of right now, the current code that's in place, I think it lasts for 6 months because the first one was the same thing. So I just gonna have to check with Rod to get the wording on that right, to make sure that we are referencing the correct code with the correct dates and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Rod would be proud of us. Being legal.
All right, very good. So we'll check, Dominique is going to check with Rob, and then we're going to see if we can add that virtual statement in there. Okay? Any other comments on that page from the commissioners? Okay, we'll move over to the next page. This is the FY 2021 HRC initiatives. And so, and we're going to have to change that. The following FY 2021 and that opening statement initiatives were selected in consideration of the HRC's purpose, and we'll change that opening paragraph a little bit and say that they were confirmed during this retreat, during this period of time, because that was last year when we established this. Now we're confirming, reaffirming them. What does the commission feel about that? This paragraph where it says, that the previous work plan input and input in the 2019-2020 commission retreats. So we can say previous work plan and this retreat that we're having today. Any thoughts on that, commissioners?
Any thoughts?
Does that sound okay?
That sounds good.
Okay, very good. So we'll just rework that. And then here we go with the initiatives. And so this is, these initiatives are things that have sunset clauses. So there's a timeline that is going to go away in the future. So we're hoping this first one will go away very soon, don't we? This COVID-19, 2020 task force. And so, and we have a lead. What we're going to put on here, my understanding is basically the leads for these initiatives. Is the commission okay with that? Leads and co-leads, basically?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Thank you. Sorry to keep being the one. But anyway, I think I suggest for you to put the lead to be Ginger Jenkott. I actually basically I just helped connect us to the proper resources and sources so that we could have our weekly report, and I did that. But I think, to be fair, Ginger is been sending weekly reports, so I think her name should be first, and then I below her. Thank you.
Okay.
And I think she's willing to do that. She has been.
Right.
That would
Okay.
be great.
So Ginger, and then also keeping on there, Commissioner Herman.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll be glad to help.
Okay, very good. And the date sunset 12/20/20, we hope it goes away by then. Are you comfortable with that, or should we go?
Mhm. I have a virtual hand up like Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
Mr. Walker, you just kind of took the words out of or thought out of my mind. I think that's way too soon.
Yeah.
I think it should be at least the end of the work plan year at the end of June. We know there's not even going to be a vaccine in wide use by then, so I think that, and I'm sure we will have something to do with vaccine distribution and all that type of thing. So no, that's too soon.
Okay, very good. Anyone disagree with that?
Let me check with our two commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Hesselstein, do you have any feelings with that?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, do you have any feelings on that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Very good.
And I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic's open.
Thank you. I agree totally with Joe. For your information, the governor is putting together right now a team, another task force in regards to vaccinations and so forth. So this is just beginning.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Back to you, Aurelius.
All right, very good. So we're okay with that first one. And so we're going to make that change. Next one is this racial tensions task force, racial tension task force. Purpose to address the racial tensions occurring in the city, to engage residents. And so we have the lead as the chair, and then Commissioner Thompson, Francis. Are we okay with that commissioners? Any change necessary on that?
As long as Francis is willing, that's fine with me.
Commissioner Thompson, did you have anything to say? Your mic is open.
Yes, I'll continue to work on the task force.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
Very good. And we have that going through the end of the work plan also. So the focus, we're good? Okay, no objections. All right. Next one. Again, this is the initiative, Something in the Water, observations, presentation, reports and presentations. So this is for fiscal year 2021. So we don't know what's going to happen in the spring. It's put on there, first of all, let's say the lead is Commissioner Hazelton. And we have the chair as the co-lead. Any objection to that? We okay?
Commissioner Hasseltine, did you have anything to say on this item?
Nope.
Oh,
That's
okay.
good.
Okay, thank you. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Stevens, the mic is open.
Thank you. I think the name might want to be changed because we're observing other things and different, 4th of July, the protests. So I don't think we need to expand what we're doing as far as the name.
Yeah, we talked about that, and down below this are the actual committees, which is the Independent Observer Program. And I guess Something in the Water, because they said they're going to do it whenever. That part is an initiative. So I'm not sure I don't know. Do we want to leave it as an initiative, or we just want to leave our committee there and be on call when they need us?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open.
As far as Something in the Water, I just feel like we need to probably include that with all of our other observations and reports and not name it, because it may be changed to some other event. The name may be changed, the format. I mean, we just don't know. So I think just with the independent observers program, we just ought to include, all of the things that they're doing. So week 17, I know has been an issue, and that's when Pharrell came up with something in the water, but we don't know if that's going to be,
Right.
unless somebody has heard. I mean, I have not heard, but I'm not in with the in crowd, so I may not hear whether or not this is going on. But I think to isolate that one event and then it not take place in 2021, I just feel like we need to stay with our the regular observation program that we already have.
Okay, so what we have on the floor is to go ahead and drop this something in the water out because it's be covered under the next section under the standing committee, under the independent observations. Does anyone disagree with that dropping something in the water out? It's no longer as a initiative. Anyone disagree with that?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
I really think that we should keep it and just put, as Francis was saying, that this is a committee of observations events. I don't know. We have to name it something else, because what I was thinking is that we have been attentive also to protests at the ocean front. Some of us have been aware that some of members attended some marches that happened not only at the ocean front but actually at the Mount Rushmore and so forth. So we should make it like community observation reports or participation, I don't know, but keep it there and just move that item below as one of the descriptions that can.
So what we're saying then is this is falling under the 2021 initiative. Can we move I think the recommendation is, can we move it under the independent observers program and maybe make a note such as something in the water, other observation programs?
Agreed. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah. And it says so down underneath there that on heavily attended weekends and et cetera that we covered. So yes,
Okay,
I think we're
which makes
on grants to remove it from
Okay,
the
so
initiatives.
all right. So on this one, this will be removed from the initiatives. Any disagreement with that? Something in the water being removed? Okay. The next one we have is the 2020 Forum Community Conversations, Human Rights, Race Relations. And that's with, first of all, Beatrice and Carla as the lead and co-lead. Are we okay with that?
It's up that we had postponed the race relations forum, but it's up to the committee what they want to address next and when. So I think an initiative, it should stay under an initiative for forums, but I don't know what, right?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is now open.
Yes, I think we should leave it in there and strive to have, a forum or so. And the only thing is to basically, instead of be decided, put the same as everything else, FY 2020 to 2021.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is now open.
You called on me too fast. I was going to say the same thing that Beatrice says, that instead of identifying the topic, it's an initiative, just plain and simple, that leaves it open for discussion.
Okay.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. Let me check and see with our commissioners on the phone. Commissioner Hesseltine, you have any opinion on this initiative?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zilberman?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right.
All right. Very good. So the next one is the awards program of preparations. And so for fiscal 2021, I guess that was going to be in December.
Correct.
has been canceled this year? Is that something that we want to, so it was canceled this year?
It is canceled. Yes.
All right. So what does the commission feel? Do we need to keep this in the document?
Anyone feel a certain way about that? Commissioner Ingram, I see your virtual hand up.
Yes, I really think that we have to update that it was modified. We cannot take it out because actually there is plan in the works where all the commissioners are going to tape themselves and send something. So it has been modified, but actually we should keep it there because we have deadlines and work that has to be achieved.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. I'm gonna ask Commissioner Callett if he has any feelings on this since he's the lead on this initiative. Commissioner Callett, your mic is open.
No, no strong feelings as far as this
Okay.
review goes.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Callett. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
I just think that you need to combine the awards program and the Human Rights Day video because they are one event, and just combine them instead of listing them as two initiatives.
Okay, so like put a addition to this that says, in lieu of COVID-19, Commission has decided to do a.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. Anyone else have any opinions on that edit, that revision?
So then if I'm hearing correctly, are we saying we can just go ahead and take this out and keep it, have the Human Rights Day celebration video, put some content in there so we don't have to have the awards program, but it's the Human Rights Day celebration video? Is that what I'm hearing? That's any disagreement on that? So we're going to drop awards program and have Human Rights Day celebration video.
I think Joe meant to combine them. So
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
a slash and put Human Rights Day. And
Alright.
also I'm David's co-chair there, so I can
Okay.
fill in. He has a little baby, you know.
What I can do is remove that line between the two
Okay.
and then put a little note right underneath Human Rights Day celebration saying, in lieu of COVID-19, Commission has decided to, and the description of that.
Okay.
It sounds good?
Any disagreement on that?
Okay. 1 second. It looks like we have another person joining us on the phone. Let me identify who this is. Caller, can you identify yourself, please?
It's me. I'm just working with technology. Sorry, I'm late.
Okay. All right. Hi, Jamal. Welcome. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
All right.
And so the lead for this awards program / Human Rights Day, is that going to be David? Is there someone co-leading with him on that?
Sylvia.
Sylvia.
Okay. David, Sylvia, and we'll change that. And is December still the target date for that? December 2020?
Correct.
Okay.
A little side note for me, if you haven't sent your video in, please send it in as soon as possible. Good news, Valerie's on vacation, so I think that means we got a little bit more working time. She'll be back on the 6th, so we got the weekend to get the video done. I do have 5 commissioners have got it done already, so I'm just waiting for some more. So, all right, so that's my little housekeeping spiel there. Back to you, Rose.
Very good. Thank you so much. So we can move through that and we can go to the election of chair and vice chair. That was taken care of in July. And so, but it still should be in the document because it was in the fiscal year to show something was done. Any disagreement with that?
Anyone?
Okay.
Oh, I have a hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
The date just needs to change because we're going to do it in 2021 again.
Is that going to be when in 2021? Is that going to
Because
be?
it'll be in June like it's supposed to. You're
Right.
absolutely right. Yep. So we probably should have 2 dates then, because since we'll have it twice in 1 year, or do we keep it at the one date for next year?
Well, no, if it has to be done, so technically it should be done before the end of the fiscal year.
Yes.
Okay, so let's put that date. I would recommend if
Okay.
the commissioners are okay that we put the date for this, for the current fiscal year that it should be done.
Okay. So that's 6/2021. All righty.
Any disagreement with that?
All right.
Okay, very good.
Oh, I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yeah, the only thing is about JoJo chairing that, but I guess we can put it there appointed by the chair, right? Because it usually is done close to the time.
Any comments on that, commissioners?
Yeah, I think the committee is down, I guess it doesn't need to have his name there. It's usually
All right.
appointed right before.
So who,
down in the-
so the lead, what should a statement be as appointed?
It would be, there's a committee, nomination committee
Okay.
down below. So if that's your druthers, we can leave it empty.
What's the committee's view on that? The commission's view? If that
Any
just be left?
Commissioner Amberman?
Well, I have concerns that Commissioner Orencia basically, has not attended meetings. And I think right now we have a lot of members that actually are, consistent. So the opportunity should be given to those that are participating consistently.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Anyone else have any feelings on that? Let me check. Commissioner Heseltine, do you have any opinions on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, do you have any thoughts on this?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn, any thoughts on this?
I do
Commissioner,
not.
okay, thank you.
We're recommending then removing Commissioner JoJo from this.
Not removing him, but actually to, have the chair considered or give the opportunity to commissioners that, attend regularly the meetings so that we can get more engagement from others maybe.
So I guess the question is going to be, is there a lead for this initiative, election of the chair and vice chair? Is there going to be a named lead?
There should be a chair for the nominating committee. And to be honest, JoJo was the only person at that time that was willing to take it on. I think we were we asked, and that was the only person that we got. And Teresa served with him, so that can come up for discussion.
Okay, so what we have, this is the initiative to election of the chair and the vice chair. We do have a standing committee for the nominating committee,
Correct.
which JoJo is a part of. So the question, do we even need this as an initiative, the election of the chair and vice chair, or is that going to be covered under a standing committee as the nominating committee?
That's a good question because it's standard operating procedures that we know that every June we have to elect officers, which by the way, after I went back and looked at the bylaws, we are allowed to have more than just a chair and a vice chair. It says other officers if you go back and read the ordinance and the bylaws. So possibly we want to have a new committee to look into any of that.
Okay. So for this initiative, is there a recommendation that we just remove this initiative, election of chair and vice chair, from an initiative because it's covered under the nominating committee? Is there anyone like to take that recommendation?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open.
Yes, I think it would behoove us to take that from there and just as a standing committee, because that's just a part of what we do. It should be an initiative necessarily. And again, as our chair has said, that there are other officers that may be elected. So the nominating committee would make that decision. So I think that should come off as an initiative. That's just my opinion.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Thompson. I saw a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, did you still have something to say?
No, I think Ms. Thompson just expressed my thoughts.
Gotcha. Okay, all right, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. Any thoughts from the commissioners on the phone? Commissioner Heseltine?
No, I agree with Commissioner Thompson as well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, any thoughts on that?
Same.
Okay, all right, thank you. And Commissioner Gunn, any thoughts on that revision?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it sounds like we'll remove that as it's going to be covered under the standing committee of the nominating committee. Very good. We'll move on now to maintaining. Now this is an initiative maintaining. Hope I don't get anyone dizzy moving the screen so quickly. So maintaining the onboarding package. And so is this still continues to be an initiative? Maintaining, so an outline of the contents of the new onboarding package will be prepared. Has that been prepared now?
It has, and Joe bravely stepped forward to get us going. It's basically going to be in the hands of the liaison to get the packet together for onboarding, and then all of the other elements of the onboarding package, the policies, procedures belong under a committee, and of course the ordinance and the bylaws and the training come through HR. So I'm saying, like, I guess, Joe, do you feel that your job is done? Joe, Francis, Ginger, I think Beatrice was on it. And,
I have a virtual hand by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
I think it's done once we actually approve it or not. We have, because it never really has come up for a vote. So I think that's done, and probably so is the next one, really.
Okay.
Anyway.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open.
Yeah, I wanted to, I mean, I don't know that we need to keep it as an initiative, but it certainly should be someplace, because I'd like to see that as a working document, that as we grow, as we change our work plan, as we, adopt new ideas and new things, that that this onboarding package and the mini manual may be edited or, maybe added to or whatever. So I don't know about leaving it in the initiative, but I think we ought to consider it as a working document, something that we can edit and as needed, because something may become outdated and we may need to put something up to date in. So I'm willing to work with Commissioner Burnsworth to just kind of monitor the onboarding package to make sure that it always contains everything that we need. For example, things may come up, like, we've had situations come up concerning commissioners, and, as we need to adjust the policies and rules and that kind of thing. So I like I said, I would serve with Commissioner Burnsworth to continue to monitor the onboarding package and the policy procedures, just to make sure that we always are on top of everything that we need concerning the Human Rights Commission.
May I give this recommendation or give this thought to the commission? Under your standing committees, you have the Bylaws Policy Committee. That's the mission is to review the bylaws and policies, make recommendations for additions, changes to the full body for discussion vote. Could those initiatives fall under that committee?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is open.
I was just going to say that exactly what the gentleman just finished saying, that even though the onboarding committee is no longer there, the policy and procedures committee could maintain all of those policies and procedures. Also, I would like to say that Joe Burnsworth did such an excellent job with that onboarding package that I would be willing to allow him to take over as chairman of that policies and procedures.
Nice
Yeah.
slide out. Nice move.
Yeah. So here, and I want to commend the commission. I mean, we've gone through those initiatives and we've knocked out a few of them. And so it sounds like, let me just make sure we're clear on this. Is the commission okay with removing the maintaining onboarding package and maintaining policy and procedure mini manual no longer as initiatives and moving them under the standing committee, the bylaws, policy, procedure standing committee? Anyone in disagreement of that?
Anyone? Let me check with our callers on the phone. Commissioner Heseltine?
No, I think that sounds perfect. I also just want to really thank Commissioner Burnsworth for all the work that he put in on that. It's a great document. I think it exceeded a lot of people's expectations, and I vote for him to chair that from now on.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Heseltine.
Okay.
Commissioner Zilberman, do you have any thoughts?
Same.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Zilberman. Commissioner Gunn?
No,
No. Okay. Oh, what was that, Commissioner Gunn?
nothing. I'm good.
Okay, thank you. And we have a new caller on that line. I think this is Commissioner Anderson. Commissioner Anderson, is this you?
Yes, this is me, and I don't have any objections.
Okay, all right. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, did you have something to say?
No, I just got Commissioner Anderson's email who said she on the call, so I was just going to kind of share.
Yeah, I got the email and the text. So.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. So those two will be removed and they will fall under now the oversight of the bylaws policy. Outstanding, commissioners. We've taken care of those initiatives. Are there any initiatives? Well, we'll move forward and then at the end, we'll wrap up with anything that should be added. Moving now to the standing committees. So we're looking at here for the standing committees. The first one is going to be the awards. And what we have, I believe these are two new names as the chair and co-chair. Or were these last year's?
They're still good.
Okay. Members are still good? Good. No change? Okay.
No change? Okay.
Very good. And here we go now to the bylaws and procedures. I heard there was a discussion for a new chair.
We haven't heard from Joe. He was very quiet.
Hold on one second. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
Actually, Sylvia, you just couldn't hear me laughing hysterically on this end. I thought you guys were my friends. No, I'm happy to take that on. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for accepting.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth.
Make sure Louis stays on the committee though over here, and we need Francis's name added as a member and who else?
Okay, so real quick, there was a point back at the awards committee. Raj is still there. We can just strike him. So we'll take him out, and all the other names were okay. Now, for the bylaws, so we're going to have Commissioner Burnsworth as the chair. Did I hear now Commissioner Rivera being on as one of the members?
Yes.
Okay. And did I hear another name?
I think Francis wants to be on there. Anybody else? And anybody is always welcome to join at any time. So
let's check with our callers to see if they want to join or anything, any opinions on this. Commissioner Heseltine? Your mic is open? Okay, thank you.
No, thank you.
Commissioner Zilberman?
Same.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn?
Same, but I'm on video, by the way. You don't have to, I can use WebEx just fine.
Oh, okay. So you're on, you can talk to your computer, audio is working?
No,
Yeah,
I'm using my phone audio. I'm using my phone audio instead of video.
Oh, okay.
Computer audio.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
I see everybody here.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All right, and Commissioner Anderson, any thoughts?
Are we referring just to the committee for the planning?
For the awards committee?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you just say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you clearly.
I wasn't sure I heard the question correctly. Sorry, I'm driving. But no, I have no desire to join that particular committee. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, back to you, Aurelius.
Okay, very good. So those members, we're going to take drop out and adding Francis, I believe, and then Commissioner Lewis also, and that should be okay.
All right, any objections or opinions on that?
Okay, very good. We'll move now to the Elderly Support Committee with Commissioner Hazeltine as the chair, and we have Sylvia and Tommy as members. Anyone else would like to get added to that? And
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Your mic is open.
Thank you. I will do anything for Carla, but as we talk about these standing committees, I'm going to go back to the document that we talked about, the onboarding and the mini bylaws. As we look at these standing committees, the way that document is done is we have two kinds of committees: standing committees and ad hoc committees. Standing committees are those that will be in perpetuity, and ad hoc committees are those that someday we hope will resolve themselves and they can end. So if we're going to accept that, as we talk about these standing committees, we need to keep that in mind. Will the Elderly Support Committee see a sunset? I don't know. Possibly. Is it? But I just wanted to bring that up as we look at these committees.
okay, thank you. Any thoughts on that from the other commissioners? So the way the document was set up last year, we did not have the ad hoc, so that we appreciate you adding that. And so that gives us a little flexibility. So we have initiatives, we have standing committees, and then we have ad hoc committees. What would be the difference between just a point of clarification, between an ad hoc committee and an initiative?
Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
And I'd see initiatives are those things that are almost more event focused or new altogether. They're things that have come up due to circumstances like COVID. That's it's new to us, and we're just kind of getting started with it. And we're supporting other groups along the way. And then with ad hoc committees, they're ones that the chair or vice chair or a commissioner bring, again, that we see may have a sunset clause. Like, we hope that the Race Relations Committee will have we hope someday it'll have a sunset, because things will be all right with the world. But I know Francis is laughing at me because I look at the world through rosy-colored glasses. But that's for me. That's the difference. Ad hoc committees could also be those that have a connection with another group. For example, the Mental Health Committee. That's really a charge given to the Community Services Board. We just link with it. So I don't know if I'm making any sense. But the standing really would be elections, forums, independent observers, policy procedures, those things that we know are going to happen every year as long as the commission exists.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
I so appreciate the clarity you're trying to provide to this, Joe. So I'm trying to figure out, you're suggesting based on the new onboarding package. Right now, the ad hoc committees don't exist, right? Because they're not in the document yet, right? I'm just trying to make sure I understand, because I think what you're saying makes total sense.
Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open if you need to respond.
Okay. Yes, that's exactly what this was written kind of before the onboarding package was approved. So if the onboarding package is approved, we just have to make this match what we say we want to do.
Okay, and so I'm just making sure I'm clear about the adjustment. Then would be things that think we're going to go away fall into either an initiative or an ad hoc status, and somehow we would filter that out and figure it out. But it would be that would be clear. Okay.
Yes.
You explained it very well, and I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Stanley and Commissioner Burnsworth. Chair Neary Strickland, I see your virtual hand is up.
Yes, so I can further understand too. When I went back, and the task force, and I'm not sure about task force belong under the committees and task force, or if they belong up in initiatives. But task force are the ones that I call task force, which I think will and hopefully have a sunset of some sort or be turned into something else. At last year's retreat, we decided that mental health was going to be a standing committee, and that was voted on. So if we wanted to undo that, we need to vote on it. The elderly committee is something that has been talked about for a long time that we have, and Carla, since she serves on one of the state governor-appointed committees, brought that forward. I don't know that that's going to be. I hope. Hopefully, we all have elderly people from now on and into the future. And the same thing with our law enforcement. The new one, I made that a committee because everything that we were doing, it was not under any heading. And so, with all of the problems that our police we've been facing with the police and the civil unrest, since we've been doing this since 1990s. Everything that's under the law enforcement oversight committee it was being done. Now it has a name. So, am I understanding that kind of a committee would not be standing? It would be ad hoc because it's not a functioning admin type thing. Because I'm getting a little confused myself.
Commissioner Burnsworth, I see your virtual hand is up.
Okay. What we did was that when we met as a committee, we kind of did away with task forces. Anything that Sylvia, I think that to make it, I'm going to try to make it, because I obviously made it confusing. I'm going to try to make it really simple. Anything that we know or we believe is going to last for a long time, like the Police Oversight Committee, it probably will never go away for us. Right. And it probably should never go away for us. So that would be a standing committee because it's part of our function. And right. We can interpret it any way we want to. I was just giving as the kind of the synopsis of what the onboarding committee discussed. There is no cement definition of those. So it doesn't, I have no heartache about where anything falls. I just wanted to share the discussion that we had when we did the committee.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, is open.
Yes, thank you. And I agree with the structure that we're trying to create. But I think that calling it a committee and ad hoc committee is going to create the same type of conversation that we are having here, a lot of explanations. So I suggest that we adopt what Sylvia was trying to talk about, because I think that everybody understands what a task force is. A task force is for a certain amount of time that is needed. It doesn't have to be short. It could be a long term. But we know that in essence, once the job concludes, then the charge of that group will end as well. So I just would like to suggest to try to not call whatever else we create, uh, under ad hoc committee, because it sounds so similar to committee that it has to be kind of like a clear difference.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Stanley, did you have more to say? I see your virtual hand is still up.
I was going to piggyback a little bit, but I feel like this conversation, and Joe, thank you. This is what we've been kind of stumbling on. Poor Aurelius has been dealing with this whole, and I don't want to get bogged down, because I think we're working through the work plan, but I think we do have to cement a structure and approve that, so that then we can let things fall underneath. So I don't know how we can kind of move on before that's been decided.
Yeah.
It seems like that is really critical. Thank you.
Thank you. And if I may, and that's why I asked the question, in last year's work plan, task force were removed. We're trying to get it as streamlined and aligned as possible. And so that's why the definition, okay, initiatives, those were things that were, important. We're going to have a sunset to it, though. It's going to go away. And then we had standing committees. And so it was very clear those were the two buckets, that things that could go away would be an initiative. Things that are going to be repetitive, that's going to be around until the commission, is going to, until the commission, as long as the commission is in place, that would be a standing committee. So just want to make sure we're clear if we now add ad hoc. And Joe, outstanding. I haven't really seen the work, but I'm hearing everyone saying is outstanding work. That might, and it might add another bucket now that we need some additional clarification to. So, to Joe, would it be okay what you were calling ad hoc? Could those fit under an initiative that has a sunset?
Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
I'm open to anything. And I get the confusion of ad hoc. So and maybe it's initiative, those are the things our focuses for that year. Standing committees are those things that we must have to exist. And then if you want, and then just committees that are the other things that that are there, they're part of what we do, but if they went away, I don't know how to explain it. Initiatives are our focus for the year.
Mm-hmm.
They may align with a committee. They may be more specific than just a committee. It may be a segment of a committee, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
And then the standing committees are those things like nominating, bylaws, the independent observer program, the police observation or law enforcement observation, those things that are part of our meat and bones. And then if you want to use task force, or if you just want to use committees for those other things, that's fine. Like I said, I'm not tied to it. I don't think it's going to make or break this document either way.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yes, and just to support what Aurelius was saying, I think that we did a lot of work last year on deciding initiatives, and that's why I feel that we all are becoming, confused with so many terms. So I think that we should adopt initiatives, because that was an agreement before that makes continuation, and so that is my suggestion.
Okay, all right, thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Let me go check and see with our commissioners who are on audio only, if they have any input. Commissioner Hesselstein?
Hi, thanks for calling on me. I think this is one of the few times that it's good that I can't see everybody's faces or see all the information, that I'm just listening to it and processing it. First I was confused between ad hoc, initiative, and task force. And I personally think that for me, from my understanding, and I think after being on the commission for a year and being on a couple other boards and commissions, just the way that our work plans and work processes are, we have either committees or task forces, and an initiative may be something, and I think I'm repeating someone else as well, or blending a couple of suggestions, that maybe the initiative, let's just say, for example, is that whenever the COVID vaccine comes out sometime next year, there's an initiative that everybody that is available to get it gets it. That could be an initiative. Where the Elderly Support Committee could either be a committee or a task force, because hopefully it will have an end date. Although today we actually have an outbreak of 40 cases within a Centera facility, and it was on the news this morning. So that's my only comment is for someone who's not looking at the paper or seeing everybody, it's really clear to me when we talk about committees, task force, and our work is an initiative. So that's all I'm going to add.
Thank you. That's very
Thank
clear.
you. Thank you, Commissioner Hesselstein. Commissioner Zilberman, did you have anything to add?
Well, I think that we ought to try and simplify things and not become too cumbersome, so that ad hoc and initiative, to me, are just about the same. A task force is a more long-term ad hoc committee, so I would say that if we can stick to standing committees, and what else do we have? And the task forces, initiatives, that would simplify things. Otherwise, I think that we are just becoming a bit repetitious, and we may lose sight of the larger goals of what we are called upon to do.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Zilberman. Commissioner Gunn, did you have any opinion on this? Commissioner Gunn? Can you?
No,
Okay.
I do not, but thank you for calling on me.
No problem. Thank you. Commissioner Anderson, did you have any thoughts?
Yes, I am in agreement with Commissioner Husselton. I believe that the standing committee is kind of what we have, again, for long term and for our policies and procedures. I love the idea of the task force to have a set goal, and then our initiatives are things that either the committees or task force are handling. Again, distributing masks and hand sanitizer is an initiative to a certain amount of people. Like, initiative to me is a specific goal of a task force or a committee. And I would also like to suggest, and I'm not sure if this is my position or not, but I would like to suggest that the Racial Equity or Racial Justice Committee is considered a long-term standing committee, because we are always going to need to be in the fight for racial justice. So I appreciate you calling on me, and that is my comment on the matter.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Anderson.
So if I may, it sounds like I've heard 2 or 3 comments that maybe standing committee, and then we have task force, and then we have initiatives that are going to be carried out by either a standing committee or a task force.
I think that's what I heard the most. Yes, and Joe kindly said he would have no objection to doing that, but I think that that's what I heard was a clarity for most people.
Okay.
Anybody object to that?
Any objections? Commissioner Hasseltine, any objections?
Nope, that's perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, any objections?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn, any objections?
I do not object.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think everyone's clear on that.
All right, so we're clear, we can move forward. And what we'll do, we'll put a little heading under each one of these because it was very clear the way that was described, what each one of these sections mean. So, and perhaps what we'll do is we'll move standing committee first, and then the task force and then initiatives. The flow seems like standing committees, then task force, which are sunset sort of activity, and then the initiatives that are going to be focusing on to get those taken care of. Is that okay if we change the flow, the order a little bit? Anyone object to that change in order of the document?
Okay, Commissioner Stanley, I see your virtual hand is up.
I think that makes total sense. But I do have one question for clarity. Who decides, you know, as you say, the standing committees are a function of, you know, almost administration, have to be. Then a task force becomes the next kind of category. But so some of these are not a function of have to be. It's a matter of whether there's going to be energy and work, you know, like mental health, even law enforcement. Who decides whether they become standing committees like they're listed now, or whether they fall under the task force category?
Excellent question, because we have the commission here and we're looking at these, and it could be as you're having your annual retreat that you make that decision, because we're getting ready to now discuss the elderly support committee. Is that going to be something that's going to be forever, or is that just a task force now? So that's going to be my next question as we move to each one of these. Does it stay, is it a standing committee or is it a task force?
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure we were going to get that clarity. Otherwise, I think we'll still be in the same.
Yeah. So I think this form is the form, and if there's any of the commissioners that disagree, as you have your retreat, your annual retreat, you're looking at what we're going to do for the year. This is the time to say, okay, yep, that stays standing committee. We need to make this a task force, and these are some initiatives that will support those. So this is the time, the retreat, that we'll be doing that. Is that acceptable?
Yes, I wanted to say something quickly. In the past, the committees, and I think it says so in one of our documents, the chair is supposed to designate or create committees, and that's not what I would like to do. That's not my style. Mine is to maybe suggest, and I did quickly create these task force without meeting because we couldn't get together a meeting, but what I had promised is that this is your commission. I'm just banging the gavel for right now, and someone else will later. So it's up to this group to decide whether or not, because we had some appointed committees in the past that we didn't understand what we were doing. So it's the body of to answer Teresa, it's this body, and we decide when we need a committee or a task force.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you, Chair Mary Strickland, and thank you, Commissioner Stanley. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Yes, I just wanted to accentuate what Sylvia was saying, because even though when we are here being members of the actual committee, we are deciding for the rest of the existence of the Virginia Beach Human Rights Commission. And just like the living thing with people, depending on how engaged they are, the same is with this commission. And every chair and every changes in the commission bring changes upon themselves. So don't expect that this is going to be the rules for everybody else. There's going to be perhaps in the future somebody else that will come and will say, look, I want to do it in a different way, and they will. So what we are deciding, and what Aurelius is saying, is that for this year and for 2021 and we should not be that scared that next year, perhaps, if something doesn't work, we can change the name or do something different. Thank you, Aurelius.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Ammerman. And I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
Two things. One is I will go back and change that other document for you, Sylvia, to include these committees so that they are, the work plan and that document are aligned. I think that's important.
Bless you.
And I would like to just to kind of piggyback on what Carla said, not jump on what Carla said. That initiatives are those things that we are going to be working on almost to produce a product. That standing committees are those things that are administrative, and that everything else is a task force. And those administrative things would be the nominating committee, the awards committee, the policies and procedures committee, the forums committee, and then the rest are task force. And out of those task force are where the initiatives come. That's just my quick thought about definitions. Because standing committees really should be those things that will never go away because we're a Human Rights Commission. Other things may change because of the world around us.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth.
If I may ask before so Commissioner Burnsworth, for your package, then would you tweak when you said an ad hoc committee? Would that name be changed to task force? Task forces in your document to ensure there's alignment also?
Your mic is still open, Commissioner Burnsworth.
Yeah, it'll say initiatives, standing committees, task force.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner
Unless we
Burnsworth.
change it again.
Thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Rivera, your mic is now open.
Okay, there are good ideas about these changes, but I just wanted to make sure that we take into consideration the present bylaws that we have as a commission. For example, in terms of Article 3, Section 4 of the bylaws, it talks about the duties of the chairperson. It specifies the appointment of subcommittees and chairpersons of such subcommittees as needed. So it may be supporting the bylaws as they stand, may be supporting what Sylvia was talking about giving more say to the commissioners. But whatever it is that we come up with, we need to make sure that we submit to the city council as a change to the bylaws, because it is not stated in the bylaws as they stand.
What's not stated?
What we're talking about in terms of the establishment of all of these committees and so on, and who does it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I don't think we need a change, because that's just my personal leadership style. I don't believe it's my commission, so I don't want to be that dictator type person that says we will have an elderly support committee and it will be chaired by Carla. I wouldn't want everyone to agree to it. So I don't know that we need a change, but are you finished? Because I did have a question too about the other things.
Commissioner Rivera, your mic is still open.
I'm sorry. You asking me if I'm finished? Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring up that point that that we should look at Section 4 when we're talking about these changes and see if something has to be added or something has to be taken out in order to accomplish what we're speaking of. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner, thank you, Commissioner Rivera. I see a virtual hand and real hand up by Commissioner Ammerman. Commissioner Ammerman? Your mic is open, Commissioner Amberman.
Thank you so very much. No, I just wanted to say that the internal decisions as to how we structure our meetings is not in the bylaws. What you are reading is that the chair has the right to appoint bodies, and they call it commissions. But those commissions is what Sylvia then designates. Right now, we are agreeing as a team that we are going to divide those committees that the chair appoints as standing committees, as task forces, and as initiatives. And that structure doesn't need to be approved by bylaws. The point that you are bringing is that the chair has that, that it is her right, and that doesn't change with the structure we are forming.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Rivera, I see your virtual hand is still up. Did you have more to say?
No, I'm sorry. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
If I can figure out how to take this off.
you just click it
Oh,
again.
yeah.
Yep.
Little hand.
Push it lower. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. All right. Chair Neri Strickland, I see your virtual hand is up.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I understand this. In my way of thinking, I had created the two task force, COVID-19 and just the racial tension task force. And I agree with our new commissioner that yes, that's something that we need to talk about in the future for a standing committee. But those task forces, what I consider hopefully will be have an end to it, and so I call them task forces. And maybe we're getting hung up on standing. Can we just call all the other committees and just have committees, task force, and initiatives, so that right now we don't get confused with standing and non-standing? Because there are some people missing from this meeting who, if we come back and they're not a standing committee, we're going to go through this again. So I think that's what I heard everyone say, that they wanted just committees, task force, and initiatives. Did I not hear that correctly from most everybody?
Any thoughts from anyone on this? I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley, your mic is open.
Yeah, Sylvia, I can see why your head's spinning, but I think we have created a structure that fits. First of all, it was great that Louis made sure it fits in the bylaws by Beatrice's clarity about, you're right as a chair to be able to appoint a committee if needed. But in the meantime, we do the work with this definition of standing just as administrative. That's the stuff we got to get done every year, year after year, no matter what. Then the second category, instead of use the word task force, and that's anything that has energy, that's working on content for whatever is in process and as we're functioning in the here and now, knowing it could change later. And then the third I hear as the initiatives, which are specific things that support the ongoing work of those task forces. So I think we're just changing out the word task force for what was ad hoc or subcommittee, as Joe had originally described it. But I think the structure will be very clear, and everything that's work, except for administration, would fall under the word task force. And I think I really think it's a clear structure for me, and I have been, really confused for a long time.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Stanley. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa and Dominic. The reason I think standing committees need to stay is because our bylaws say that a chair can appoint committees. So if a chair wanted to, with the structure of everything being a committee, could come in and say, we're not going to have a nominating committee anymore. I'm going to stay in power forever. I mean, really, they could, because the bylaws say that the chair can appoint a committee. Or we're not going to have award ceremonies anymore because I'm eliminating that committee. So if it's in a standing committee, then the chair doesn't have the power to remove those. And we can make that fit into the bylaws without significant change. That's why I hate to be dogmatic, but I did a lot of research on this, and that was one thing that they said over and over again is you have to make sure that there are things that allow the organization to run, if you want it to run in perpetuity, that no one can change. These are functions that cannot be eliminated.
Okay, cool. Can someone tell me what is going to be a committee and what's not going to be a committee?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Your mic is open.
Yes. I think we better be careful that we're not getting in the weeds right now, because I think as we're getting deeper and deeper and we're going down a rabbit hole, and I'm not for that. I think the structure that we have on paper have initiatives, we have standing committees. Under initiatives in the work plan as is shown, under initiatives, there are various task forces, because initiatives produce the organized group that's going to work through those initiatives. Then we have standing committees. That is our regular pattern of work. So can we adopt, what we've already decided? That's going to be the structure. Mr. Walker has said, we decided last year that we would have these buckets. This was I'm just concerned that the more we discuss it, the more we get in the weeds. Here we go. We're going down this rabbit hole. So let's stay focused. Let's stay with what we have. It's already been reviewed, already been approved by several of the commissioners who may be absent. They've gone over this work plan. They've seen it. They know the structure of it. I felt like we were just here to update, to add to the initiatives, to look at the task force. Do we still need that? Do we want to add any more? I'm just really concerned that as we discuss this further, we're going to go, get deeper and deeper into these weeds. And so I feel like we need to let's look at it. Let's update it. Let's eliminate whatever it is that we're no longer working on. And let's move on. That's my suggestion.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Right.
Let me check with our commissioners on the call and see if they have any thoughts. Commissioner Hesseltine?
No, thanks.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, your mic is open.
Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn, your mic is open.
No additional thoughts. I just agree with what Francis was just saying.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Gunn. Commissioner Anderson, any thoughts or feelings on this?
No further thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, back to you, Aurelius.
Okay, so we're at a point here where we had the structure from the plan last year. I think we need to make a decision before we can move forward, because where we we're looking at the HRC standing committees, awards, which is administrative, that's going to stay standing. Bylaws and procedures, that's going to stay as a standing committee. And then we got to the elderly support committee. And again, we're trying to determine the bucket. And so the commission needs to make the decision. I think Commissioner Thompson has made has recommended that we not break this out, that it's either going to be a committee, a standing committee, or an initiative, and not add this additional bucket. However, there was some discussion that we can break some of these things that are not administrative, that would the commission like to entertain that during this retreat, to add a new bucket or leave it with our 2 buckets. So the decision is having 3 buckets now: standing committee, task force, initiative, or just standing committee and initiative.
Any feelings on that? Anyone?
Francis, do you want to make a motion?
Commissioner Thompson, your mic is now open.
I do. I would like to move that we keep the structure of our 2021 work plan, that we maintain the structure of having initiatives that are carried forth by task force, and that we have a group of standing committees that we can keep as our regular pattern of work.
Do I hear a second to that motion?
All right, please raise your virtual hand if you have a second to that motion. Let me check with our callers. Commissioner Hesselstein, do you have a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
What was it? I'm sorry.
So I'll second the motion.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so let's do a roll call vote to vote if we're going to stick with the current structure of standing committees and initiatives. Starting first with Commissioner Amberman, your vote?
I think you are missing the task forces. So I disagree with what you're stating at this point.
Okay.
Can you state it correctly, including the three things that we have just discussed?
She was putting the task forces under initiatives, so that
Right.
they would stay in place.
Right, the motion is to keep it the structure as it is now with standing committees and initiatives.
The task forces being under initiatives. The task forces are still there.
They're included within the initiatives.
I vote yes, yes.
Okay. Commissioner Khaled?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn? Commissioner Gunn, are you still with us? Commissioner Gunn?
Yes.
Okay, and your vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Burnsworth?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Rivera?
I think I'm gonna have to vote no.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Chair Neer Strickland?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Stanley?
I abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Hasseltine?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman?
I need to be a bit more clear about it. I support the standing committees, task forces, and initiatives. A three-leg structure.
Okay, so your vote for the two?
I cannot vote for the two. No. Mm-hmm.
Do you want to make a substitute motion for 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a second? Is there a second to the substitute motion?
So move.
Okay. Commissioner Amberman, you second that? The
Yes.
substitute motion?
Yes, and please change my vote on the other one, because it was kind of like, we have a discussion for about an hour on the 3-leg, and then all of a sudden, I did not understand, because I heard the task force, and all of a sudden, it turned out to be 2, so it's pretty confusing. Yes, I remove my vote, and I second the motion of the Rabbi Zoberman.
No, I don't have Rod with me, but Francis, do you want to amend your motion that we have task force, committees, and initiatives? Initiatives are really away from this. Right now, we're just trying to decide if we're going to have standing committees and task force, and the initiatives are our work.
Commissioner Thompson, your mic is open.
I'm with Ms. Commissioner Amberman. We discussed it over and over, and I mean, I'm looking at the document, and as I look at the document, initiatives is one bucket, as Aurelia said, and standing committee was the other. Under the initiatives are all the task force that we have formed that carry out the initiatives that we decided that we wanted to do. So that's why I said just leave it, as it is. But whatever the commission wants to do, I'm a team player. I'll do whatever it is. I was just saying, we already have task force under the initiatives. So why would we create another bucket for that. But if that's what, I will withdraw the motion if that's what the commission would like to do. I withdraw.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Thompson. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman.
Thank you. And I would like to give the mic to Commissioner Burnsworth, because I think he has already, in the document that he was drafting, he was agreeing with Aurelius, and they were working in conjunction, and we were already having some clarity there. So I would like for them to kind of like take us back to what we had discussed before, which was the structure of the three legs.
Well, if I may, it sounds like Commissioner Thompson has withdrawn the motion for the two.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then the discussion is, if that's correct, Commissioner Thompson, so now the discussion is with the three legs, it's the Standing Committee's Task Force Initiative. As we continue working through the document, then we're going to be able to now say, as we go through these next committees and activities, if it's going to be a part of the standing committee or if it's going to be a task force. We've already decided the initiatives. Maybe something can be moved into an initiative. So we just want to make sure do we have to vote on this? Does there need to be a vote? We go to the three leg, the three sections of the work plan.
This went out to everybody, and everybody agreed to it. But what happened was we took the task force and put them under initiatives. I think what would really be clear to everyone is if we went back to task force and committees, because those are two things. One goes away, one stays, and we can clarify this till the day ends, but we have committees or task force, and our initiatives are our work. So does everyone want to vote on that? Do we feel that we need a vote?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Your mic is open.
Beatrice, thank you for asking me to clarify. I don't care what you call initiatives or task force. There needs to be, I am absolutely firm, and I will vote no against anything that does not separate standing committees from committees. Because they are two different things. One is an entity that runs the organization. The other is the work of the organization. I will just vote for anything that does not have a standing committee that's policy and procedures and administrative only as the third leg. And those things would be nominating, policy, awards, and forms. And this is going to sound petty, but I can't even lead a policy committee that doesn't have that because of the research I've done. And it's just something I'm vehemently that I'm so strong about that I have to stand by that.
Okay, well, and so here is, as your facilitator, let me see if we can get through this. I appreciate Commissioner Burnsworth, your passion for this. And I think by having the three legs, it will allow us, the commission, this is my second year working with you. There have been a couple of the standing committees that we've had that the commission has had a few challenges with, that this may give clarity to this. And so my recommendation is let's continue to go through and if we can just, as I'll facilitate this, let's look at what are the standing committees and using the definition of what is administrative. And then if it's not administrative, it will then be a task force, a subcommittee, an ad hoc, whatever we want to call it, whatever the commission wants to come up with, and then the initiatives. And so if I may recommend, let's go to this next one that shows up in the document, Elderly Support Committee. Is that administrative, or is that something that would be task force, something that's not administrative?
I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Your mic is open.
I would consider that a task force.
And any objection to that from anyone on the commission?
Somebody asked Carla.
Yeah, that's where I'm exactly where I'm headed. Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is open.
Thank you. So as long as I understand correctly, I mean, the way that we've done this currently was that the Elderly Support Committee was created, although we talked about it for quite some time, but it was created due in part to the things that we were seeing within nursing homes and within our elderly. But actually, I mean, and you can do it either way, really. But I also believe that the whether we change it to from elderly support to aging, or even an aging committee, there are ongoing issues where our elderly is involved. They do have ongoing issues. But and then my other point is that can a task force, if it needs to be, should a task force, if it meets the criteria, can it become a committee later on if we see that there's a true need for it?
Yes.
Okay, then I would be okay with either way, and I'd almost be okay that a new committee like the elderly support be a task force and prove its muster, and then move on to committee status.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Heseltine. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
I just think, I don't think anything moves from task force for committee. I think it is either task force or committee, and make one the same definition, just one name. Just choose a name, task force or committee, and be done with it, and don't worry about moving. There are initiatives, those things that we're working on this year, standing committees, those things that will be around forever, then a task force or a committee, and everything else falls under that. And they can come and go and last forever, or 2 days. It doesn't matter.
And I think, if I may, the big thing that makes the difference is if it's administrative for the committee. If it's administrative for the committee, that would be a standing committee, and the other things would then be a task force. And it doesn't mean just because it's a task force that it's any less important. It's just the fact that it's not a standing committee. It's not administrative. So okay. So is that something that's acceptable? And I think that does give clarity to the document, and and this is maturing, and it's an evolution. Last year, we got through it. There was a little angst on some of these. And I think this year, with this very distinct clarification, I think it makes the document a little better, but it must be something that the commission can agree with.
Okay. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Your mic is open.
I just want to really appreciate that, because I think part of the problem has been the confusion, and in a sense, one of those buckets or another makes it more important.
Right.
We've all fallen into that sort of mindset, and so it's almost like you got to fight to be a standing committee, and it's not the function. So I think the clarity of this function is so critical. And I do want to say, I know this is in the weeds, as Francis would say, but we've been waiting for this conversation for a long time. We couldn't have it at our review that was supposed to go after we heard from Joe, and where else would you do it besides the retreat? So I really appreciate everybody hanging in here, getting this figured out. Thank you.
I think we're at a breakthrough point. I really do, because that's what Carla, I really appreciate your point about the elderly support, but because it's a task force, it still means it is important. It's just not administrative, and so that's why it wouldn't fall into the standing committee. And I think if the commission could vote on that, I think that takes us to the next level.
Okay.
Are you asking for, are we going to individually vote on each of these to be task force or committees? Is that what we're saying?
Well, we don't have to. What we're going to do, we're going to go through, so for the elderly support, yes, we have to say, is this and it's going to be very easy if we get through this breakthrough, because it's going to be, if it's administrative, it's a standing committee. If it's not, it's a task force. So if we can get, I tell you, if the commission could discuss that and come to an agreement on that, this would take it to the next level, and we can really get through it.
Okay, and I don't care what we call anything. I do care where the task force, if everything that's not administrative goes to task force, does that now go up under initiatives, or do we say committees and task force, and then we list everything?
I see it as a standing committee, which is administrative. And again, I want to present this to the commission. And then you have task force. Task forces, these are things that are actionable, that perhaps has a sunset. It's not administrative. And then if there's some things that are even short term for the year, it could be an initiative, an extra focus area. So a task force can go 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years. It could be 20 years for aging,
Right.
because you're going to be looking at aging. But the initiatives are things, these are things that we want to laser focus for this year. So you have standing committee, administrative, task force, could be 2 days like Joe said, or it could be 20 years, or initiatives that are laser focused for this year.
Right. And my question was, where on this document are they going, the task force? If all the others become task force, do we move those up under initiatives and remove them from the committees?
No, you have 3 separate buckets. You have your
We have
standing
3
committee.
buckets.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have your standing committee bucket, you have your task force bucket, and then your laser focus initiatives.
Okay.
3-legged chair, stool.
That is okay in my mind. Anybody else have any problems?
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Burnsworth. Your mic is open.
So moved.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Burnsworth. Commissioner Ammerman, your mic is open.
Thank you. And now that we have agreed to this, we can move, and actually to help Aurelius, we can basically just go down the line and decide. This is going to be quickly. Once we decide that, thank you, Aurelius. We'll just go so that we don't have to vote one by one. We can go down the line and we can say, it's going to be a task force. And I would suggest that for now, if we agree what he is mentioning, is this a task force or a standing committee, to put our hand up, and then at the very end, verbally vote for all of them that we decide to go into the task force, into the standing committee, and to initiatives. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Ammerman. Okay, back to you, Aurelius.
Okay, so we can move through, and again, the way I'm going to ask this is this administrative. If it's administrative, it's a standing committee. All right, and so if it's not administrative, it's going to be a task force. And so what we have in the document is the Elderly Support Committee. Is that administrative? How many is administrative?
I don't see how.
Okay. Any hands object to it? Any hands think that it's administrative? Let me check with our callers. Commissioner Heseltine?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman, do you believe this is an administrative committee?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gunn, do you believe elderly support is an administrative committee?
No comment.
Okay. Commissioner Anderson, do you believe that elderly support is a administrative committee?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so it looks like everyone is in agreement that elderly support committee is not a standing administrative committee, therefore task force.
Okay. Very good. The next one is the form.
Are we going to go back to the first two, or just for the awards and bylaw? No. Okay.
Awards is not administrative either, is it?
Anyone feel like awards is not administrative?
This is where I get confused, because we've had an awards committee for 25 years and it is not administrative. It's a program, the same as forums, same as all of our other programs. So basically what is administrative is bylaws and procedures. Joe, is that correct?
Okay, I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
Thank you. And we don't want to begin that discussion all over again.
Okay.
What I want to suggest is that what we say right now, standing committees, that we don't have it to focus strictly on administrative.
Well, that's what Joe is saying.
Yeah, but I'm going to clarify because we need to, and you are correct, Sylvia, that these are functioning areas that the Human Rights Commission has worked for, generations. And so that's why we call them standing committees, because they are standing. It is not, even bylaws, they're not administrating anything because we don't have any budgets or anything like that. So basically, let's think about, when we're talking about the standing committees, the task forces, let's not go back into defining what those are. Basically, you are correct, Sylvia. It is the things that we've done for a long time and that we depend on for the functioning. And I would consider that awards, bylaws, etc.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Amberman, any objection to that? Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is open.
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zilberman?
No.
Thank you. Commissioner Gunn?
What am I objecting to?
That awards and bylaws is considered standing because it's been part of the commission since the start of the commission, basically.
They are the regular functioning things the commission has done and continues, doing for.
And I don't want to,
for now.
okay, and I don't want to, I think again, we were moving this, getting to the next generation. Awards, when you look at what the mission is, and then we'll move on to us in the coordination and execution of an awards program. That's an administrative function in my mind. You're assisting, you're doing paperwork, that's administering the awards program. That's what that committee does. And so that's what I'm just trying to help us see the clarity, the bylaws and the procedures. That's a group of individuals that are, looking at administering, ensuring that the procedures are acceptable. But again, I was hoping we could have some fine lines to help us see what would be a standing committee and what would be a task force. So we got to the point of the Elderly Support Committee. That is a task force. That's what we agreed on that. Forms and Dialogue Committee. Does anyone feel that this is, now I don't know how to capture that statement now. Does anyone feel that this should remain as a standing committee, forms and dialogue?
We have, that's part of in our bylaws that we provide those, and we have done it since 1991.
Okay,
and it's in the committee. So I don't know, but it's not admin, it's not administration. So I don't know how to put that. They've all been committees.
Okay, so when we say administration, and again, what are we saying? How are we defining?
I don't know. I thought administration is if we take it away, the commission would fall apart. Well, none of these fit that to me, except the bylaws and processes. But maybe I'm wrong, and I need to.
Okay, well, if I may, to the commission, we're at the point now, don't mean to take us back, that, it was voted, Commissioner Thompson was saying, Francis was saying, we might be going down a rabbit hole, because now it's, we're at the point, now how do you define what is administrative or not, if it's administration? We need something that in everyone's mind, we can clearly say this is or this isn't. That's been the challenge. Commissioner Beatrice?
Commissioner Amberman, I see your hand up.
And I think I can help you with that. Because number one, in our bylaws, we are not appointed by city council to administer anything. So that is why I agree with Sylvia. We have to get that definition out of our minds. That's why I wanted to focus on what the discussion is about. And the discussion is about having 3 legs that function throughout the year in our work. And the standing committees are the things that are supported by what city council appointed us to do. One of them is to advise them. The other one is to educate the public, to have that communication. And then, you know, what we talked about is nothing that has to do with administration. So I think that word is kind of like making us go round and round. So please erase administration. We are not an administrative body. I can tell you that the Arts and Humanities Commission is an administrative body. Why? Because we used to receive several $1 million from city council that we had to distribute to all the other organizations, the arts organizations in the city. We don't administer. So let's erase that word, you know?
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll erase the word. So let me go back to Commissioner Burnsworth. Joe, if you're there and with all your research and review, what's the point of demarcation?
Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is now open.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. I've sent a chat to everybody that I would like to make a motion that the following committees be standing committees, the rest be forum of whatever they are. I can't even think of the name now anymore. Nominating, policy, awards and recognition, forums, law enforcement oversight, and independent observers. Those are the ones that I would like to, and 2 of them, police, law enforcement oversight, and independent observer, I could waffle on. But the other ones, nominating, policy and awards and recognition, and forums, I think are definitely standing committees. I nominated 5, so.
I second that.
And then we can vote and move on.
Okay. So any discussion on that? I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Gunn. Commissioner Gunn, your mic is open. Commissioner Gunn.
I'm sorry. I'm here. I mean, I'm just a little still confused about what exactly we are doing. I mean, I agree with the statement that Beatrice just made about administration. I mean, technically, I know what she's saying. We are here to advise city council and educate the public. I get that. So there's not really like an administrative part, but there is an administrative part of running a commission. But at the same time, like a lot of what we're doing is essential to who we are as a commission. And I don't see it being just limited to just those 5 committees. And to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, like I said, I'm not seeing a purpose for it. So I mean, I'm sorry if I'm wrong for saying it, but I'm just not seeing a purpose for the change.
Thank you, Commissioner Gunn. Okay, did anyone else have any more discussion towards the motion that Joe put forth and Beatrice second? Commissioner Heseltine, your mic is open.
No.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Heseltine. Commissioner Zoberman?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Teresa has her hand up.
Okay, hold on one second. Commissioner Anderson, do you have any discussion about the motion that Joe put forth and Beatrice second?
No discussion. I agree.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, and Commissioner Stanley, your hand is now up. Your mic is now open.
Yeah, I completely agree with what with what Joe's saying, and the only reason that I feel like it's really critical and get is because we do need the clarity. We have to figure out how things are going to function. But I did have a question about public information. Would that be considered some extension of the HRC that's necessary, you know, to keep it? Would it also be included, Joe? It was just one other one. I don't care. I just thought it might be one we'd want to add to that.
Commissioner Burnsworth, your mic is open.
I accept that. I missed that on the list. So thank you, Teresa. Yeah, definitely public information. That's important for us.
I agree.
Okay, so you want to amend your motion, Joe, to include the public information form?
Nominating policy, awards, recognitions, form, police oversight, and public information.
Okay. All right. Anyone want the second?
I am.
Okay.
Beatrice just has to
Beatrice,
accept it.
okay, thank you. Okay, so with that, how about we do a roll call for Joe's motion to accept the awards committee, bylaws and procedures, forms and dialogues, independent observer, nominating committee, and public information committee as standing committees. So let's start with Commissioner, oh wait, Commissioner Burnsworth, your motion.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, that doesn't do away with the other committees. All those other committees are just as important. They just have a different name.
Okay,
They are vital.
so we are voting that awards, bylaws, forms and dialogues, independent observer, law enforcement oversight, nominating, and public information are standing committees, but not more important than any other committees that the commission has. All right, I'm going to start with Commissioner Burnsworth. Vote? Yes, okay, thank you. Commissioner Ammerman? Commissioner Ammerman, your mic is open.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Heseltine?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Callett?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Gunn?
My hand was up because I just wanted to say it sounds like we are saying that these committees are important than everything else that we're doing. I mean,
No.
we're voting. That's what it sounds like to me. That's what I'm saying. So I have to vote no.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Commissioner Gunn. Commissioner Rivera?
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Stevens?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Did we lose Commissioner Stanley? Oh, I'm not, okay, there you are. Commissioner Stanley, your vote?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zoberman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Anderson? Commissioner Anderson? Yes, okay, thank you. So we have,
I don't think I voted.
oh, sorry, Chair Neary Strickland.
I,
So yes?
yes.
Okay, so that makes it 11 yes and a 1 no to have the standing committees as awards, bylaws, forms and dialogues, independent observer, law enforcement oversight, nominating, and public information as standing committees, not making any other committee less important. All righty.
Okay. We got through that. So we've identified the committees. What I would recommend, now that we have the committees, the names that were attached, and I don't think it's that the committee needs to vote on that, but you let me know if you think the committee should, that everyone have one last opportunity. We'll restructure the plan, this front part of the plan, and everyone have the opportunity to say if they would like to be a member of the committee. Now, I think we should talk about who would be the chair before we go. Is that acceptable? I know we're at the point where we had a 2-hour block. So I'm going to let the commission go. Should we discuss who the chairs are going to be for the committees and task forces, and then everyone say if they want to be a member? Would you like to do that today, or should we hold this for? I mean, we're here.
Any thoughts? I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Commissioner Amberman, your mic is open.
I would suggest that we could do that at some time. But another thing that I kind of I just thought, I don't know, I don't see all the documents right here, but I think that we have something about racial tensions. And I think that actually is a key work of this committee, of this commission. So, but I don't see it. I mean, I'm depending on what I see on the screen, but I was thinking, you know, where is the racial tensions? We had something about racial something, and I think that's the basis of our work. So that should be also a standing committee. So,
Yes, that should be. There was a racial tension.
It's under initiatives.
yeah.
Yeah, go further. Go up. Page right there. There we go. Yep.
Task force. It's a task force.
It's a task force.
Well,
It's as important as any other, whether subcommittees or task forces. Yeah, it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Well, and that's what it's called. This is the first part. We had it under initiative, but it's called a COVID-19 task force, a racial tension task force. So those would get moved under the task force bucket and out of the initiative bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
thank you. I just wanted to make sure that we discussed that and we were cleared. So, and I'm fine with that. Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Amberman.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we need to discuss the chairs for the rest of these, or how would the commission like to move forward on this?
I really think everyone's okay with the chairs, and anybody can join in, and we can just do that while we're in committee, if it's okay with everybody.
Any objection to that? And raise your hand if you have an objection to that.
Oh, my God.
Let me check and see. Commissioner Zoberman, any issue?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Gunn, any issue with naming chairs and members right now? Or
No.
as is? Okay, thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
No.
Okay, thank you. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Thompson. Commissioner Thompson, your mic's open.
Unfortunately, I have another appointment at 5 o'clock, and I set aside from 3 to 5, and so I have another appointment that I'm late for.
Okay, I think we're good.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All
All
right.
right, thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so if I may recommend then, well, the chair, Sylvia, how do you recommend we proceed?
We got through everything, did we not? We didn't go through each committee, but are the other committees going to remain called committees, or they're going to become task force?
Task force.
Task force. Okay, so we're going to have three little groups, initiatives, task force, and committees. I think everybody understands that now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Any objections or anything to that? Okay. I think we're good.
And do we have anything else, Aurelius? Do we really have anything else to cover, or is that pretty much
No,
it?
for the committee, there's some things that we have to clean up that were some repeats, what we can do. Dominique and I can get together, clean this all up, send it to you, Sylvia, and then send it to the entire commission to, take a look at to see if there are anything that we really missed that should be addressed by the entire commission.
Yes, and thank you everyone for going down the rabbit hole, because this rabbit hole has been circling it about 3 years now. So if we've got it all under control, I'm happy. Is everybody happy with our work plan and our structure? Everything's good?
And okay, Commissioner Zoberman, do you have anything to add?
I'm happy.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Zilberman. Commissioner Gunn?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Anderson?
No, just excited to join the Racial Tension Task Force and possibly also the Law Enforcement Oversight Committee. Really excited.
Okay. I'll make note that you want to be a part of those, that task force and that committee. All right. Thank you, Commissioner Anderson. I see a virtual hand up by Commissioner Amberman. Your mic is now open. Commissioner Amberman, your mic's open.
I just wanted to thank immensely Aurelius and yourself for your great patience. And I think that we achieved something immensely important. So let's all unmute ourselves and give them a hand, because I feel it's outstanding. Wow. Thank you.
All right, very good. Let me see. I need to unmute myself. No, I guess I'm unmute. Okay, thank you very much, Commission, and Dominique and I will work on cleaning this up, and we'll get it back through Sylvia and Ginger and out to you, and hopefully we're almost there.
Well, one second. I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Stanley?
And Aurelius, I'm not trying to give you anything else. I just wanted to make sure that there was, and I'm so appreciative of the structure of the work. I did want to ask just how we were going to deal with how the liaison partnership and some leftover initiatives that were at the tail end of the report, just to see where we will kind of revisit this. Because as Jamal's telling me, everything is important. All the issues are important. And so we need to figure out, the big structure's there. Now we need to just know how these things will plug in and what they become. Like, are those initiatives going to go into the initiative bucket? Or, and then do we just need a little bit of an understanding about how liaisons and partnerships flow into the work? I just, since we're in retreat mode, I just want to make sure that wasn't going to be left flying out there.
Yeah, no, we'll make sure we'll package that up, give something to the commission to think about how, I think we have the big three legs identified. Now the liaisons to the commissions, the partnerships, as you say, Teresa, those are very, very key, how they all link together and what they all mean.
As well as those leftover initiatives that were on the back page. I think there were like 3 of them. Human trafficking, which has been a huge issue that we've looked at for a long time. They're just 3 that are hanging out there. Thanks, Aurelius.
Yes.
I think this was so helpful.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Stanley. Commissioner Neer Strickland, I see your hand is up.
Oh, is it? Okay. I just want to say thank you, everyone. I think we've accomplished a lot. At least we've got our work in our course. And Teresa, we will get to those. The partnerships and the liaisons are important. And in the future, I've asked Aurelius if he would mind doing a little retreat for those of us who want to do it with some team building. I think that might be some good exercises that we can do. And he said, yes, he would, right?
Okay.
Yes, you got it.
I have a virtual hand up by Commissioner Stevens. Commissioner Stevens, your mic is open.
Yeah, I was just circling back to the videos that we're going to be doing or have been done. Could you send out some of the examples from some of the other ones just for us to look at to see what they're saying, so we don't say the same things? And
that's okay. You just answer those 4 questions that I provided. You want to go ahead and answer 3 of those, so then we can pick from, and if we have 3 from each person, I'm pretty sure there won't be any kind of overlap. So just pick 3 of those questions that you like, you answer them, and then communications office is going to help us piece together the best options. Yep.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Yep, no problem. Anyone else? Anything for the good of the group? Commissioner, I'm going to unmute you guys. Commissioner Zilberman, anything good for the to finish this off? And Commissioner Gunn.
The Jewish community just celebrated the New Year and the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Tabernacles is coming up. So we pray that God will build a sukkah, with our help, a booth of shalom throughout God's creation. These very, very difficult times at home and abroad. And thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Overman. Commissioner Gunn, anything for the good of the group before we exit?
No.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Anderson, did you have anything to add?
I just wasn't on the WebEx email list, so I guess just forever next time work through those technical issues. But thank you, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, let me check on that because I think you gave me 2 different emails, so I might have put it underneath the other email. So I'll check on that for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? I think our retreat, oh, wait a minute, Beatrice.
Beatrice, go ahead. Your mic is open.
Yes, Hispanic Heritage Month, and I had a panel discussion today where they invited 500. And as soon as they have the taping of that panel discussion, I will share it with everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
All righty. Anyone else? Oh, I see Commissioner Rivera. Your mic's open.
Since Beatrice brought up Hispanic Heritage Month, I just published my book celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month.
Bravo.
And I got my mama's picture back there. Isn't she pretty?
She is. She always was. Yes.
And I'm very happy that it all worked out and we made it for this month. And it's available on Amazon.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Meeting adjourned.
Dominique. Thank you,
You're
Dominique. Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Good night.
Adjourned.